Welcome to FrazlCast, a podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Thank you, Brandon T. Blaylock, for the awesome intro. You can find him on Twitter at HonorHeartHire. Hello, Internet. It is Frazley, the awesome gnome. On this episode, we will introduce you to the awesome Sal. It's so strange being the one introducing Sal. Last time, Sal was introducing me on The Converted. We will talk about gaming communities, the new doggone cute Stormount, and more. Let's start the gnome train. Welcome to FrazlCast, a podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. We are recording live from a tavern. Each week we are joined by awesome people from around Azeroth and beyond. This is episode 42, The Meaning of Life. No, that's not the title. This week we are joined by a new guest, Sal.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's awesome. I feel like it's both the Converted and the Darkmoon Herald all coming to FrazlCast.
We're all here for you.
And all we need now is like Kevin to come over and we can have like the sideshow of Suck and all that.
Kevin probably do it for you too.
Nice. And we are also joined this week again by now a regular guest, Zephirah.
Aloha, nerds. Nice to be back. And I have Emma's Lock cookies for you, waiting and ready.
Ooh, I'm hungry now.
Oh, those lot cookies, yeah.
They're so good. So, before we begin, let's learn who Sal is. From what I gather, and we have extensive intel on guests. I actually guessed one of our guest blood type in a joke Discord DM. Sal is a CTR guild officer, host of The Converted and the Darkmoon Herald podcast, player of D&D, and always has a smile on their face. How'd I do?
Well, you got a lot of that right, yeah. I do play D&D. I'm on The Converted. I'm on the Darkmoon Herald. I also have a podcast that is not anything in the world to do with video games or Warcraft. It's called Pariah Cast, which is a podcast all about Westworld.
Ooh.
And Westworld Season 2 is coming up here on April 22nd.
I gotta watch that. I loved Season 1. I can't wait for Season 2.
I've watched it. I watched it through a few times now. We went ahead and did a episode to episode analysis of each show. We had one person who had never seen it before, so he was, we tried not to spoil it for him, and we didn't. We did a good job. Everyone can listen to the whole first season and like what we were doing with that. And now in April, Season 2.
Nice.
Yeah, Pariah Cast. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check that out because, again, Season 1 was amazing, and I want to hear all the thoughts on it because that show is incredible.
I had someone tell me one time, says, Westworld is way too confusing. There's way too many holes in this. Whoa. Confusing, I'll give you. Okay? It can be confusing. You got to really watch it. You have to watch every second of it to see all the Easter eggs and understand all the timelines. But holes? No, there are no holes. There are no holes at all. Everything is completely on purpose. Westworld's pretty crazy jigsaw puzzle to put together sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. For any viewers, just so you know, there are some scenes that made this gnome a little squeamish.
It's not as bad as Game of Thrones, but it is definitely not safe for work. No,
absolutely not. So don't show your kids Westworld. Just don't.
Don't Google the Pariah either. And yeah, that's a very special town in the Westworld theme park.
Yeah.
You're just now remembering what Pariah was. And
yeah.
You're like, oh.
Well, I already have a scene. Yeah, I have a scene in my head
That
already.
Scene.
Yeah.
That scene. That scene is what I'm talking about, yeah.
Wow. I think a good name for a podcast, though. It opens up a lot of room for things. Nice. And I also believe your main class is a shaman.
I started as a shaman, and I've continued as a shaman, yeah.
Nice. And you're also on the Alliance.
I am only Alliance.
Good.
No Horde at all. I'm anti-Horde. Horde is the bad guys. I always play the good guys.
Rumor says I may have a couple Horde, but I don't play them that much, and I've got a bounty.
If I had any Horde tunes, you wouldn't know about them.
Yes, offline mode. That's why it was invented. For anybody listening, I don't know if I covered it earlier. Sal and Zephirah are both officers in Convert to Raid.
I'd say Zephirah probably does more than I do as far as being an officer is concerned.
It's great though working with you. I mean, I got to meet some really awesome people throughout the way. So, but yeah, it's fun.
It is fun. I'll tell you that I became an officer kind of by default because of the Converted podcast, and that's not, that's a silly thing to even say because that's not how it happened. But I started off as a greeter. I was inviting people into the guild. And then the head greeter at the time says, Sal, it's been like 3 months since you took a shift. You can't be a greeter anymore. So like you're fired. And like in the nicest way possible, he said this. And it was cool. So then I went to the head event planner and I said, I plan a guild event every 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I've done so for like 4 years. I think I'm an event planner now. And so I'm an event planner. And that's how I keep my officer status, because I plan a podcast every 2 weeks. The Converted podcast is all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak.
Which in itself is amazing. I love that there is a podcast that isn't as much about general raid news, but it's about finding people in the community, showing different raid teams, different people, and you get to meet people and learn more about them.
That's just it. Like, we're never going to run out of things to talk about because what we talk about are members of the guild. Our main topic is people, not the game. Like, we talk about the game, obviously, but even when we are way like deep into the ends of an expansion, like we will be in a few months, actually, even when we're there, we have plenty to talk about.
Yes.
Because we'll never run out of people.
And that's a good thing because running out of people means there's no community.
Right. And we do double up sometimes. There's a few people who've been on there a few times. I can think of our friend Tommen, who comes on about once a year to talk about his raid team. And he also does a lot for the guild too. And he can talk about like different ways of tracking raid teams. That's pretty awesome and pretty complicated. And I do love talking to him. But most people come on there and have never been there before. And people get to know folks that they haven't met before.
Absolutely. And I think 7,500 characters last I saw, that's a lot of players if you'd like divide that number by however many. I'm not good at math.
Not everyone has a ton of characters. I dare say most people just play the one.
Okay.
It might have a couple of alts, we got the boost anyway, so it's there, but it's not really geared. I guess most people are like that, which is me. That's me. I have a bunch of characters. I just have the one shaman. I'll tell you how I rolled the shaman. A friend of mine years ago, I started in Kata. I'm a Kata baby, which means I've only been playing the game like 10 years. Not 10 years, but maybe like 8 years, something like that. And he, at the very beginning, the first days of Kata, actually, it was near Christmas time, I was sick, and I was going to be sick for a long time. It was pneumonia. And he purchased World of Warcraft and all the expansions for me up until then. That was really nice. He also got me a new Wi-Fi router, which is lovely, lovely guy.
Nice.
He's actually in the CTR guild, as a matter of fact. Yeah. He came to my house. I lived in Korea, and he gave me this stuff, and he sat down next to me. He put in all the discs. We loaded it up on my computer. Like, rum, 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 Then we talked about like what kind of characters I like to play. And I'm like, well, I don't like to be like in the action so much. Back then anyway. And I'm like, I just want to, I like to like throw spells. And he goes, number one, you're Alliance.
Yes.
You play the good guys. I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, number two, you're going to be in my guild. Awesome. And that was Insidious on Nagrand AU. We were in Australian servers back then. He like went through the different kinds of classes. And I guess we figured out that I should be a shaman. And then we went through the different races that could be shaman, and there was just no doubt in the world that I was going to be a space goat.
Yes.
I rolled Selmisis, which has been a pseudonym for me since probably almost 20 years, if I'm honest. Almost 20 years now. I've used Selmisis in one way or another as a pseudonym. And so I did that, and now everyone calls me Sal. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I roll with the same character.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see how people start in WoW and where their names come from.
Yeah.
So since we last talked, Sal, well, actually it was a converted podcast.
Right.
What's new with you?
Well, gosh, I don't know. New with me. I guess my raid team's into heroics now, which is a big deal for the Rubber Chicken Coalition.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. I'm a workaholic by default. Not that I actually need to work that much for myself. I work at a tech startup, and at an early stage startup, everyone kind of does a little bit of everything. And it's kind of crazy how much I end up working, and getting those international phone calls at all hours of the night. I'm like, do you not have a clock?
Yeah.
So I've had to, turn off notifications on my phone, and I've learned to use WhatsApp because, the whole world uses WhatsApp, just not America. It's weird.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. When I say the whole world, I mean, the reason WhatsApp became so popular is because, people were paying so much for like text messages and things like that. And they also have end-to-end encryption for chats, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. I talk to people in Tel Aviv all day, every day, and in Romania and India, which makes sense for tech stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm constantly on WhatsApp to the point that I'm like, why am I even using Discord anymore? Who needs Skype?
Yeah.
Google Hangouts? Whatever.
So this show is moving to WhatsApp next week now.
Yeah, I had an 8 a.m. Meeting on using WhatsApp voice this morning, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
With a lovely developer in Tel Aviv. Like all these voice things that everyone has ever used. It's GroupMe, it's Discord, it's whatever. It's Skype, it's text messaging. It's not like a new thing at all. It's just what's going on everywhere else. I was using Kakao Chat in Korea for a long time. It's the same thing as that. It's a Korean chat program that is almost exactly like WhatsApp. I don't know if it has end-to-end encryption. Basically, there's a whole lot of software that did this kind of thing, and WhatsApp won. But Americans are still using like their regular phones and Skype and stuff when just everyone else is using WhatsApp. It's weird talking to people all over the world, and they're like, why are you still using Skype? That's weird.
Yeah. You could say that we've typically been behind on tech innovations recently. I mean, our internet speeds are definitely a factor.
Sure. Internet speed is crazy. Compared to other first world countries, America is like we're way far behind.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy. It's laughable, our internet speeds, and how some people are still on DSL. Oof. Like I get, in my opinion, kind of slow internet, and I live in Brooklyn. I live in a densely populated area in New York City. And I'm like, it could be better, though.
Yeah. I could see yours being congestion and having enough bandwidth for everybody.
Yeah, maybe. I saw the Fios truck down the street the other day, and I was like, yes. Yes, or Fios, however you say it. I saw the truck. They're installing lines. And the next week, I got an email from my internet company saying, hey, if you sign for 3 years, we'll give you this crazy deal.
Nice. Did you go for it?
No. I didn't, because I saw the Fios truck. I totally want that, and that's going to happen the moment that speed of internet, gets to my place. Whoever gets it here first, they'll have my money.
Yeah, on Monday night, I saw the AT&T truck outside of my house. I was like, "Are we getting fiber?" But then I was talking with Zephirah, and she's like, "You probably don't have the cabling." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It's probably like a pipe dream." Sorry, bad.
Yeah. It's funny thing is that we haven't, in the town that I live in, I'm about 30 minutes south of Pittsburgh. We haven't had lines replaced here for years. But they'll usually notify you if something changes. I used to work for an internet company, so that's why I know that.
One of my brothers, installs those lines. That's his job. And my other brother, he used to install lines, but started his own company. Seth doesn't like people telling him what to do. He never liked having a boss, so he wanted to be his own boss. And now my brother Seth, Butch still lays the cable. And Seth, he now supplies the electricity for, not the cables, but whatever it takes to pump the whatever. I don't understand. It's electricity though. So, and now instead of having, one boss, he's got, dozens of bosses, cause now he's got his own company.
Nice.
It's funny how I have two brothers who are both in the business and, both pay their rent by bringing high-speed internet to people.
Which is going to be a growing thing because we have so much land space in this country that we need to bring it to.
That's just it. They're not bringing, neither one of them are working like in rural areas whatsoever. And there's plenty of people in rural areas who are still working off like a DSL. And there are plenty of people working off a DSL going, what's wrong with DSL?
Yeah.
Like if you are on fiber, you would know exactly what's wrong with DSL.
Oh, absolutely. I've been somewhere where they had like a T1 and fiber line. I'm like, whoa. Oh. Yeah. Near us, we have a podcast company, Blueberry, who actually has a headquarters in Columbus. And I went to their headquarters for a meetup. Oh boy, their Wi-Fi was incredible. I was like, oh. I mean, of course they have to have it for the headquarters, but it's like, I want this.
Well, I've been in tech companies who didn't have fiber for the head. Well, okay, it's hard to do that in New York City unless you like own the building and the building is a skyrise.
Yeah.
But so many buildings here are older. So if you're working in an older building, when I say older, it's not like European older, but there's a lot of buildings that have been here since, 1910, 1920.
Absolutely.
And
my house that I live in actually was built in 1901, which is really funny. Yeah, so it's like they're different wiring, different things, if they don't do it right, can really cause problems.
Yeah.
Ours was in 2003. It was a new build. But even then, looking at what they do nowadays compared to then, it's changed.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the deep dive and the geeky stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who will talk internet. We'll talk Warcraft with you all day long.
Oh, absolutely.
But who's going to talk, laying cables for fiber?
Oh, yeah.
In rural areas.
I think we've upgraded our nerd card tonight, Sal. I feel pretty good about that.
I'm glad to be of help.
So to keep our WoW topics, that way Ro doesn't one day just say, hey, FrazlCast isn't WoW, and kicks us off. So you are in Heroic and Rubber Chicken Coalition?
Yes.
How far are you in Heroic?
Why do you don't ask me things like this? Zeph, are you there?
I was there last week, but, the week before I was busy, so I didn't show.
I believe we are 3 or 2 or 3 of Heroic. And listen, we meet once a week for 3 hours, and we are, a casual team. And no one yells at anyone else for, not being perfectly, I was going to say reforged. I almost said it. But yeah, it's kind of thing like, hey, I'm working late. I can't come. And it's okay. Unless you're the tanks because you got to be there. It's a good vibes kind of place. Like we're still downing bosses.
Nice.
Yeah, basically we're raid and chill. That's how I like to describe it. Raid and chill.
That's one of the things I've loved about Convert to Raid is the different types of guilds. Because when people think of raiding, you kind of think of like the ones who are there multiple times a week, or you're the progressive, or you have a leader who's yelling at you. And I love that CTR has so many raid teams. I've actually started looking at raid teams. I have not committed yet. I love hearing about teams like Rubber Chicken Coalition.
Listen, I love hearing about Rubber Chicken Coalition too. But I'm biased. I really appreciate being on a team like that. And because I'm in Convert to Raid, there are tons of different kinds of teams with different expectations, different schedules. You want to raid in the morning, that's there. The late evening, that's there. I work myself to death at work. It's just crazy what I do. And I've got 3 podcasts. And I guess on podcasts sometimes. Because I just can't say no, not that I would. It's nice to have a group that is supportive of that. I didn't show up last week, and they were doing Older War. Zeph, are you part of that?
Yeah, but I had a little bit of a cold.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I was went halfway through raid night, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed, guys. Sayonara.
Well, they had the time-walking Older War raid. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Blizzard's having, stuff like that. And that was the first week it was out. So the raid team did that. I had to work late. I didn't get home till well after 10. It's fun that we do different things.
Absolutely. And it helps build team flow and team spirit.
Sure.
And community, which is one of the topics tonight.
And respect.
Yes.
And teamwork. And community.
Thank you. My mind was going blank. Nice. So, Zephirah, what have you been up to since we last talked?
So, this last Friday, actually, something very exciting. I attended a prom. The Tim Tebow Foundation holds this across the country annually in early February for special needs people ranging in age, and boy, are these kids wonderful. Like, I love them. Like, I could not sit down all night. My buddy that benefits from this one, kid named Derek, he was so, like, his suit looks so nice. Like, they're wonderful. Like, I love those kids. And then, of course, the next day, I'm like, my voice is going. I sound like Minnie Mouse. Sunday, I get a fever, go to the hospital, and I have strep throat. Yay!
Oh.
But it was worth it because some of those kids I don't get to see but once a year. So it makes it, they are such a joy to be around. So they make me want to be better and make me a better person because of them. But, super fun, even though it was strep throat. But I didn't get the Love Rocket or an Alpha invite.
Oh.
I still love you, Blizzard, no matter what.
It was funny, and I was in guild chat, and I happened to see someone was like, "Oh, you just need to run a WoW podcast, and you'll get an invite." And I'm thinking, I didn't get one. I talked with Madros of All Things Azeroth, which has been around for 11 years. I'm like, he didn't get one. But I saw Pat got one, and I was watching Pat's stream, which was great. Zug and Mug.
Zug and Mug.
Yeah, he had Zug was his Alliance hunter, and Mug was his Horde hunter.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, they were separated at birth and stuff like that. Oh, and funny story, I was in the Vindicar. I saw Zug of Convert to Raid in there. I go up to him and like, "Hi, Dad."
Dad?
I mean, I don't know why. I've been calling him Dad just because he's been like a mentor to me. I've learned so much from him, and like his podcast Launchpad Guide. I mean, it's just, he's been a valuable influence in my life. So I owe a lot to Pat.
I just call him Grandpa Kane and just keep moving on. I'm like, hello, bye.
He's not that old.
Just as much.
He's a great guy, but nice. Now, Zephirah, did I see that you got the dog mount, or you did not get the dog mount?
I didn't yet, but he looks so cute.
Oh, he does.
I just want to pick him up and love him and hug him forever and ever.
He's fun to ride.
I'm sure he is, Frazley.
not like that.
Oh, dear.
You see, gnomes have this mind thing to where it flips into that. I didn't do that.
Or did you?
Or did I? Now, how was your week, Frazley?
Oh, it was great. Last week, I witnessed the before and after of a live kidney transplant. And it started last Friday because I was up till 12:40 on Frazzlecast. Then I go to bed. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. to go to the hospital to be with the donor. And it was a long weekend, but what was amazing is the recipient, he's been on dialysis and different things and like struggling. But when they got the kidney, not to be gross, but like they're already getting rid of chemicals that have been in their body for a long time. I mean, it's already accepting it. Their complexion's changing and you can see their energy coming back. I'm just like, wow. So
like, immediately like that? Wow.
Absolutely. It started in the recovery room. It was already getting a good urine output. Dialysis happens when they can't get the urine output, but it was just amazing just to see one organ changing someone's life. It's opened me up to the idea, if I'm ever called to be a kidney donor, this one took a lot of prayer, a lot of deliberation, and a lot of process, but it was just, everything worked perfectly for it. But I'm definitely open to it. And I don't want to tell somebody to become a deceased organ donor. Just please think about it. Someone's life was changed, and wow. I mean, their mom. Oh, wow. I was there when they got the news that the surgery was successful, and like all of the pain she's been feeling for the recipient over the years, just like waiting and hoping for this. Mm-hmm. It went away, and it's just like, yeah, I'm blown away by science. I'm blown away by medicine and how people can change a life, and one act to change someone else's life.
I mean, it's quite a large act.
Yeah, but then it made me think about like smaller sacrifices we make in our lives where we give someone time. Mm-hmm. We all have the ability to sacrifice and invest in somebody in some way. Like the donor invested in the recipient, but yeah. So yeah, I'm blown away. I'm just so excited. So I got my Void Elves. I have a Void Elf mage named Garonis. I was kind of thinking what would be a good class for a Void Elf, like magic.
Mm-hmm.
And then today I unlocked Lightforged Draenei. And don't tell Madros, but I made a paladin named Venubu.
Really?
Madros and I have had a joke for a long time where I always joke that warriors are better than paladins. And the fact that I'm making a paladin now is my second paladin. And it'll be my second paladin in CTR. But so far I've been enjoying the paladin. I got to get used to Ret and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Oh, have either of you gotten the BFA Collector's Edition?
No.
Okay.
Not yet, but soon, TM.
Because the little combat pet named Totto, oh, it is so cute. And I didn't even know it had sounds. I was somewhere, and it's like, Totto, Totto. And like, you click on it, Totto, Totto. I mean, it just like makes all these cute sounds. And at one point, it started rolling around. I was like, oh.
Well, at the end of the month, the 28th, I will have a top 10 list of my favorite battle pets. So that will get an honorable mention. There's a few other ones that I need to make an honorable mention for too, but that's going to make the list.
Oh, that's good because it is just so cute. It's just like, and like it like gurgles and stuff like that. Oh,
I mean, Murlocs are my jam in general, but that pet's cute.
Oh, and he got tired. I mean, he just sat down right where he was. Like, I'm done. I'm just going to sit down. And no love rocket, sadly, but that's to be expected. Working on my Druid Thunda, loving balanced Druid. I have to try Feral at some point, but Druids are really cool.
By the way, Frazley, I don't think I need the love rocket because I have the massive glitter cannons that you helped me build.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Glitter. That didn't work.
Hey, that works for me.
So, I'm doing a new weekly segment. It's a real quick one, called Alpha Watch.
Alpha Watch.
It's like Overwatch, but it's Alpha, and it's for WoW.
It's Alpha Watch.
Yes. So, are any of you in the Alpha?
Man, Blizz, no. I love you, but no, I'm not going to beg for it or anything there, Blizz, but it would be nice.
They've been giving it to people who, influencers who,
yes.
Will help hype up the game. It's a big marketing thing. And what they've released is basically what people got to play at BlizzCon, from what I understand. So it's not, terribly new news, this stuff, but I understand people wanting to do it. But that said, I did go to someone's house to play it.
Nice.
So, and I wasn't going to be there all day and night. So what I did is I rolled a rogue and I stealthed so I can uncover as much land as I could. There's cool stuff, but I went and unlocked all the flight points. And I don't know. I've got not a story point at all, but I'm going to spoil something.
Gadzooks, spoiler warning. Uh-oh. Yes.
I'm totally going to do it. Some of the flight points on Alpha are not flight points at all. They're ferry points.
Ooh, is this on?
So you're taking
side?
A boat. Yeah. No, I didn't touch the Horde side, Frazley. What are you talking about?
Okay, I just wanted to verify.
Yeah, we're on a boat in Sound Never Plays Horde. Do you remember?
So why I'm excited for this is I love Star Wars Galaxies with the little shuttles to different places.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I loved the idea of the boats in original WoW where you could get on a boat and go between places. I got kind of fed up with Blizzard on the fact that at some point they were like, portal. I mean, you don't actually go somewhere. So this excites me. Bringing back this sense of travel. Ooh.
Well, you're on an island, right?
Yeah.
It's a seafaring island. It makes total sense. I guess I kind of thought they'd be doing what they've been doing with the Vindicar, where it's more of a portal.
Yeah.
Portal, but also a spaceship. But this was a small ferry, not like a giant boat. It's like taking a flight point.
Nice.
It even looks like a flight point on the map. I thought it was a flight point. I got there and it was a boat, like a small boat. And at the moment, I tried to take it. Well, first I didn't have two boats to ferry points. Like, oh, well, darn. So I went and uncovered all the other flight points, and then I tried to take ferry terminal to another ferry terminal, and I got on, and I got eaten by a giant worm, because that's what happens when you try to go out of bounds on the Alpha. So, like, how is this out of bounds? I just took the flight point, But I was impressed with that. I thought that was a neat detail.
Oh, absolutely. And really giving you the feel of the island. So I can speculate that Horde probably have a similar thing.
I could speculate the same. That said, you never know, like, what's actually going to make it live.
Yeah, absolutely. They could make it there, and it could be like, oh, another flight point.
Yes, right. Alpha will be Alpha, so...
We can't expect anything to stay the same.
Please, Blizzard, keep it... I like this. I'm already getting, like, gnome chills.
Well, I mean, it's a good idea. I like it. But at the same time, there's pros and cons. For example, I got to what I thought was a flight point, and then I couldn't take a flight anywhere because I didn't have another boat point. So the flight points are all connected, but they're not connected to boat points, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So boats are connected to boats, and, flights are connected to flights. Yeah. So that means everything's not connected. If you want to go to a certain place, you might need to take a flight point and then switch to a boat. I mean, if I'm trying to be on a New York subway, then that's fine. Talking about switching to the Staten Island ferry, then I understand. But that's kind of what we're looking at here. You don't know how it's going to stay, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the different transportation things we have right now, where you can do a flight point on a continent and then you take a boat somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't really go through the quests, if I'm honest. I just try to uncover everything and see what I could see.
Absolutely. And kind of like just test it out, see how far you can go. And for anybody who gets into the alpha beta, I know somebody who got in, and they are a very good bug reporter.
Right. Just
saying, Blizzard may be looking at those who report bugs.
That might be true. One friend of mine got into it, and he's a podcaster, but not for big podcasts, and he certainly doesn't stream, but he's a super tech head. And I'm like, how did this guy get alpha? Maybe, and I have no way of confirming this. Maybe he got into a beta, a long time ago, and they determined that he was someone who reported a lot of stuff and gave good feedback. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, this friend of mine who got in is not part of the mold of people who you would see that typically got it. That said, a lot of people go, oh, you're only giving it to streamers. Well, you're only seeing that they gave it to streamers because they're streaming it.
Yeah.
You don't know who else actually got it because they're not like on the internet with it.
Yeah, that outward facing public thing.
Right.
That's what we see, but that doesn't mean that there's not somebody underground that's doing a really good job and giving the constructive feedback that Blizzard really needs.
Yeah.
Or just more people than we actually think. More like quote unquote normal people than we actually think are involved.
From what I've seen, it's a good mix. I mean, it's not every influencer, but it's a good mix of those because they are raising hype. I mean, I'm seeing, ever since Alpha came out, I'm seeing WoW being mentioned in different places. So it's a good mix of people.
Well, it's no coincidence at all that Alpha came out just a little bit after they started selling pre-sales.
Absolutely.
This is a marketing thing.
Yeah. And Blizzard is good at marketing. They just need to get the collector's edition physical copies out.
Good luck.
I know a lot of people who said that they would buy collector's edition, they're just waiting for physical edition.
The thing is, okay, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about that. So you're talking about like the physical edition. Who sells the physical edition? I mean, the answer is retail stores, right?
Yeah.
And who's selling less and less video games these days? And the answer is retail stores because of, digital downloads. And that's just fine for Blizzard. It costs a lot less, but it's kind of throwing the retail people a bone.
Yeah.
It's part of like, hey, we'll get you this. We'll get you X amount of collector's editions as long as you promise to put it on your end caps, so everyone can see it, or whatever else. There's a lot that goes into that kind of stuff.
I know when Mist of Pandaria came out, the local GameStop had it on their end cap with the cards for game time, and they had this really big box for the Mist of Pandaria artwork for that. And I'm like, hey, are you guys okay with me taking this box? And I haven't. It is currently up on my wall, hanging on the wall, and I love that because it's like a blown up poster of it, and I'm like,
nice.
They let me take it. I'm like, yay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is great. Back in the day, they had extra of those. Someone at Blizzard contacted us at the Converted saying, hey, could you use this kind of stuff? Because we could send it to you. And Bill Schnickel got himself a big Mist of Pandaria standee.
Nice.
Which was super nice of them to send.
If I ever got a gnome one, it would be too small to show on camera. Oh, but I did get Harry Potter enrollment papers from a friend. That's like this
Harry Potter enrollment papers.
Yeah. A friend on Facebook was like, anybody want Harry Potter enrollment forms? Because he's testing out different printing techniques. So he put my name on it, and I have like my school list and everything.
Your school list. What classes are you taking?
Let's see. Course books. Standard Book of Spells, Grade 1. Magical Theory. 1,000 Magical Herbs and Fungi. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The
Nice.
Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection. Magical Drafts and Potions. A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration. And A History of Magic. It's my first year, everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like a first year course load, yeah.
I keep getting held back at Hogwarts. So,
You're a squib.
yeah.
Let me guess, you're too short to play Quidditch.
How'd you guess? I mean, it's like, come on, guys. I want to play.
Hey, man, it's a insurance thing, so they can't let you.
But you know what? I get to go to the games and be part of a community.
Exactly.
That kind of segues into our topic I want to talk about, because having two officers, so I'll call you an officer. I just think it's a cool title. I mean, so
You can call me one.
having two officers from Convert to Raid, whenever I tell people like that I'm in Convert to Raid, they say, that's a large guild.
It is.
I tell them that what's fun about the large guild for me is the ability to meet a lot of people. And in the guild, there are all these smaller groups and smaller raid teams. I mean, a lot of them have their own Discord server. And you see, like, you have people who love running events, people who love transmog runs. And it's just amazing the small groups that get built from there. I met both of you through Convert to Raid.
That's true.
What are your thoughts on finding your place in World of Warcraft?
Well, I mean, for me, when I first started, I was on a very, very small PvP realm. So there wasn't a lot of choices. So going from there, then on to Storm Rage, that was a huge culture shock for me. And then I realized once I was in a good community and good people, they said, well, a lot of people that do this, you know, the first two guilds that come to mind is AIE and CTR. So I was like, okay, let me try this. Because I joined AIE and CTR in about the same time, April, May, June of 2014. And what I tell people is that, yeah, it's overwhelming when you come from that or a smaller game or a smaller MMO, and you're like, where do I go? Who do I join? And these big guilds they're ginormous in the grand scheme of things. Like, we have 7,000 plus characters in this guild. So, yes, it may be a culture shock, but give it a shot. Because you never know who you can run into, like, become friends with. You might meet awesome people like Sal.
Like me.
Yes.
And, like, the Rubber Chicken Coalition, great group of people. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way. I met Frazley because, and I did this whole blog thing. Like, I've been blogging for, like, the last 2 months, from January 1st until now, and that's pretty rad. Like, I wouldn't change it, because people are so cool that way. And I'm like, I've been on this podcast now, 4 times?
Yes.
And it's going to be 5 come August, really?
Or before then.
Or even before then, yeah. So it's like, I wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't for these larger groups.
That's true. Everything you said is true. It's the larger group that brings a smaller group, I suppose, because it's the smaller groups that really end up like touching like your soul, you know. Without the larger group, it's harder to find the smaller groups. It's weird that way. I started out somehow getting into the Salad Senate. I was one of the founders of that raid team back in the day, and that's how I met so many people. It's people who weren't even on the team. That's how I met people. That's how I met Bill Schnickel, who was in our first run. He and I had a connection, and we ended up starting a podcast together. And it totally changed my life. It really did. I had just come back to America from a from living abroad for 10 years, and all I knew was my family. No, my family's great. Nothing wrong with my family. But I didn't know anyone outside of, like my sister or whatever. CTR was made a really big difference in my life because of that.
Yeah. I don't know where I would be without him. Like, really, and I say that a lot. I don't think people understand the volume of that statement. I mean, really, I would not even be remotely as creative or enjoy raiding or the game even if it wasn't for these big groups of people that I now consider family.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
And that includes you, Sal. You're wonderful, and Frazley is my favorite gnome ever.
Oh.
And Emma's wonderful. Like, Rooster's like one of my best friends now. So I love you guys.
Love you too.
Aww.
I definitely agree with you on that because, since joining CTR, I was then introduced to the podcast Launchpad because I was in the Discord. I was like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, podcast help!" And I saw Kick Tripod. I mean, Sharku. I saw different people who were talking about podcasting. I was like, "Oh, I'll try that." And it's when I'm there, I'm able to ask questions when I'm questions and issues I'm going through. And I kind of look at CTR as it is your foundation. It's like your federal government. Don't take this political, but it's your overarching group that kind of manages it, keeps it friendly, makes sure that things are running well. But then you have your states underneath, like your raid teams, your podcast groups. You have these little groups. Then you have your cities. It's fun seeing these little states and cities, and you oh, who are these people? And finding them and getting, and that's the amazing thing. But we're all connected through the big guild, if that's a good analogy.
So in this metaphor, is CTR the country or the state?
The country, because all hail President Kane. President
Kane. You called him Daddy Kane just a little while ago.
Yeah. Well, he's my dad and the president. So, I mean, I'm in the White House.
You're not the only one that calls him Dad.
I know.
It's
Bartholomew
disconcerting. Yeah, Bartholomew.
Bartholomew's my brother.
Podcast with. Yeah. Okay. He's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder how he feels about being called Daddy Crane.
Or Grandpa Crane.
Or Grandpa Crane.
Oh, no.
He'd probably go. I know what he'd say. You know what he'd say?
What?
Oh, boy.
Probably get off my lawn.
No, that's Dr. Pope.
Oh, yeah. My past guild from Vanilla broke up over DKP. And that guild,
jeez,
it was small enough that it wasn't able to really foster more than the raid team. So its whole purpose was the raid team, and anybody who wants to join can kind of funnel money to the raid team, but you have to be good enough. And I mean, thankfully my dwarf priest, Broaden, which is no longer Broaden, he's now in CTR. So, well, he'll be in CTR soon. His name's Thalram, but he made it into the raid team, but you always felt like there was a clique. And that's one thing I don't see as much in CTR. I'm probably the CTR fandom. I'm probably very biased. I meant that, but I see the ability for people to make a name for themselves. And I wasn't trying to make this all about CTRs, but more, I think community is the one thing that keeps people in the game, keeps people going somewhere. And I was talking with somebody who doesn't like where they are. And as someone told me when I was going through the same types of struggles, if you don't like the group you're with, it might be time to try a new group, because if the group's causing you stress, causing you to not want to play the game, it's not the right group for you, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, it's pretty standard. I would say, yeah.
It's the guild. It's all the podcasts, all these that keep me coming back to the game more than, I mean, I love the game, but it's that community that really draws me back. So
it's that community that takes me to BlizzCon every year.
Absolutely. And the one that's made me start a fund now, because I want to meet all of you. I saw the pictures. I'm like, oh, I want to be there. I almost found money I didn't have to get on an airplane last year when I was at BlizzCon. Cause it was awesome seeing people I know that person. I know that person. I know that person.
Yeah. BlizzCon's spectacular. It really is.
It was fun seeing it. One of my friends, Silverbolt, which all of you should hopefully know Silverbolt.
Sure. Yeah.
It was fun seeing the BlizzCon through their eyes and just seeing their first BlizzCon. I mean, it was that was cool. And it didn't let them down. I was like, that's awesome.
Like Bartholomew said, he thought that Blizzard undersold it. It's a big positive nerd time. It really is. It's great.
Yeah, it was fun on this side. I got the buzz on this side. I'm like, if I get the buzz here, like when I go there, I'll be like, I'll probably be on like fire. Not literally.
You and me, Frazley, had to bust down the doors of BlizzCon one year and just be like, hey, we're here.
Yes.
I agree.
So nice. So MMO Champion is where I first saw it. Shuzin the Divine Sentinel is now up on the Blizzard store for $25.
Puppy dog.
Oh, he's so cute. I bought him like first thing.
I have not got him yet, but I will soon. TM.
I won't. It's super cute. I like it a lot. What is it? $25 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, if that makes you happy, then you should do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like $25 man. I got like a few hundred mounts. I got cute mounts too. I got mounts I never use. I got, 2-seater mounts. I got fluffy mounts.
I think at this point I'm sitting at 215 mounts.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. And then I know I just got, last night, 634 pets, which is a lot. But, I'm a collector. I can't help it. It's like, I have to have all the shinies. Squirrel, shiny. Let's go get the squirrel first, and then we can get to shiny.
I feel you when it comes to the pets, though, because when the pets come out, they're, $10. And half the time, they're like a charity pet. A charity pet, that's easy. No problem. That's all the, justification I need. Here's my money. But $25 is just getting me in the that's too much zone for something that I'll just rarely use. I'll use a pet more often than I use a mount, because I know that at the end of the day, I'm just going to end up riding my Obsidian Nightwing anyway.
Ooh.
Well, it really depends on what my transmog is too. Like right now, Zeph has an all-white mog.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one really good mount that I like for that, and that's the little Magister's Terrace bird mount.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't fly, so...
Oh, that's a good mount with that, though. Mm.
And this one does fly. It's like a flying dog.
Yeah, cool. And awesome. That's your bag. And if you think that's a cool thing, and I think it's a cool thing, I do. I would ride that for a little while, then be back on my Obsidian Nightwing.
And I definitely get it. I mean, I came from ESO, because I had a year or two where I was playing that game, trying to not play WoW, because I was trying to stay away from the pull of WoW.
So you played ESO instead?
ESO in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I wanted to stop smoking cigarettes, so I got cigars.
Yeah.
I switched to the pipe.
And now I'm back, and I've just embraced it. I'm like, I'll just play WoW. It's my jam.
Right.
But like ESO had a thing where they would add every month, they would add these pets. There was one mount that was $40, 24 hours only, and you can never get it again. And
oh my gosh,
I bought that. That
is manipulative as AF.
And that's why I'm at least glad Blizzard doesn't pull that type of stuff. I mean, they add stuff to the store, but I'm glad that they don't add like things. And every month it's like, we're removing this from the store. We're removing this from the store. You get this for 24 hours, then it's gone.
Well, ESO did have to have a pretty steady revenue stream, reoccurring revenue. They had to after they went not free to play, but buy to play.
Yeah.
So I get it. At least it's still cosmetic, I suppose. But it's $40, and you don't have any time to decide whether or not you want it. That's oof.
Yeah, and
oof.
I bought it on that impulse, and with money that I didn't quite. I mean, I had it. I didn't overdraw, but it was just like, ooh, yeah.
What describe to me this $40 amount that you had to have within 24 hours?
Think of like the Mana Saber.
Uh-huh.
It was a blue version of that, kind of in like a jaguar. It was glowy blue, so it looked really cool. But it was $40.
And when was the last time you mounted it?
I haven't been in that game since June of 2016.
They sure liked your $40.
Oh, absolutely! And then they added loot boxes to the game. And that.
Oh, did they really?
Yes. And that's when I was like, I'm done. And Talius and Heaven Tell, they had a video of BlizzCon while not adding loot boxes. they're happy with the reward system in WoW. So I'm like, good. Loot boxes would be my downfall in WoW.
Oh gosh, WoW has reoccurring revenue though. I mean, that's its revenue. Just about all of its revenue is reoccurring. So they wouldn't necessarily need to. So, I mean, the subscription alone, although it hasn't raised in price in 15 years or however long it's been, which is kind of phenomenal because it's a more complicated game than it used to be. Hopefully that getting $15 a month from everyone hopefully covers most of what they have to do.
Yeah.
I hope so. And then every now and then a $40 mount and a $10 pet.
And Final Fantasy XIV did an interesting compromise on their cash shop. They add holiday items to the game of the prior year. So every holiday you get new items and you can buy old items.
All right.
You can have earned the content in the game, but if you missed it, you can get it back. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. And with all of this dog mount, there was issues with the size of the mount.
What was the deal with that? Yeah.
I think what I heard is it was too small. I don't know if this was just that Doggo and SMOL. I've seen SMOL all over. I just today learned what Dilly Dilly is, so I'm very slow to the memes.
Dilly Dilly.
I haven't seen the ad yet, but I was like, what's Dilly Dilly? Oh, that's Dilly Dilly.
You didn't watch the Super Bowl?
No, I only watched the Amazon Echo commercial that I was like, I'm done.
Oh man, the Tide commercials were the best because I got tricked by them. You think it's an Old Spice commercial to be like, psych, it's Tide.
Nice.
It's really a Tide commercial.
I'll have to watch this now.
Gotta watch the entire game, start to finish.
No, I have trouble even watching esports. Shows how much into sports I am. But I do have a Philadelphia Fusion shirt. But so the mount was small, so they hotfixed it to be 30% more floof.
Floof.
Then the blue post was like, looks like the floof was too great and is starting to consume some of the riders. So we're taking him back to his floof volume from the morning. And then on Wednesday, they said Shuzhen, the divine sentinel size, is now more directly proportional to the scale of a given player race. So if you're a gnome, you have the biggest mount ever. That's why I like being gnome.
Aww.
Yeah. I think we're even bigger than Taran.
Did people complain that they scaled back the floof? Of course they did. I don't even know why I asked that.
Oh, absolutely. There were people in both camps. People were complaining. People were like, yay. I mean, you can find anything, and people were already upset. Though, an interesting turn, just as we're discussing this, is in China, if you bought 6 months during the Lunar New Year promotion, you got this mount for free.
Mm.
And it's one of those, Blizzard, I would gladly give you the $76, $80 for 6 months of game time.
I would give it to you anyway.
Yeah. I already have it in my thing, but I would buy this immediately. You would have me through like 2020. That's how far my game time is to refer a friend. So I would
What?
Last year I bought refer a friend accounts for myself because they were on sale, and then I added game time to it. So I've got the game time added to my account. I'm a Blizzard fan now.
Lord. Okay.
And we think that them elves have a mana issue.
I buy all the shinies in WoW. No, I stopped buying Hearthstone packs unless they have WoW shinies because I have all these Hearthstone card packs to open. I'm awful.
Well,
there's that. Our Warlock Lady Emma brought to my attention the Zerothian cultists are channeling to Wednesday, March 7th at 2:25 a.m. This was a Wowhead post, and the last time was for 7.3.5.
What is this? What are you talking about?
At certain points, the Zerothian cultists on the Broken Shore are channeling for stuff. Like they're always channeling, but their buff has an end time at certain points. If you have like an add-on or UI that shows you the buff timers. And a few times they've been like Antris opening up, I think 7.2.5, I believe. And the last time that they were channeling was for 7.3.5.
Essentially, that it would reset that channel.
Yeah.
So, and each time it reset, there was a big game event that happened.
And Wednesday, March 7th is a very peculiar time, but they said it could just be a temporary glitch, and they'll probably modify it as we get closer. But March 7th could be a battleground, could be something to do with the storyline quest that's going on right now.
March 7th, new expansion.
Yeah, which that'd be pretty cool.
That's a Wednesday, and Darkmoon Fair is happening too.
Ooh, what if Silas is finally a Dreadlord?
I don't know, but Darkmoon Fair would have already started and been happening for a couple days.
Yeah, and it's not a reset day, which is interesting.
I don't know. They've been announcing stuff on weird days, so I wouldn't be totally surprised. Alpha is suddenly out. Things like that. Oh, by the way, you can get your Battle for Azeroth pre-order now. Yes, so stuff can happen.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any chance in the world that the expansion will be on March.
No.
Oh, no.
Having played Alpha, I don't think there's any chance in the world.
If anything, I could see pre-patch or another allied race or something. Not the dwarves and stuff like that, but I could see something happening that day.
Gosh. It's just so much has been happening. That's a few weeks away. We just got an alpha. They could even take down the alpha and start something else. And I don't know. It's
Well, they also mentioned previously something about an app.
Ooh.
They were hiring for that too, so maybe an announcement of some sort to that? Because we haven't heard anything that way for a while.
What if it's battle pets or warfronts? Ooh.
Again, alpha, so I'm not teetering to that just yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Having battle pets on an app would be crazy and awesome, and I love it. It's something like that is way too integrated into the game, though. We're doing while that is integrated in the game, obviously, it's not playing the game. It's not earning gamey stuff.
Yeah.
Well, for as much as that's integrated into the game, battle pets is also instance whenever you queue. So that could potentially be a thing, or maybe some modification with that, but I don't really that's going to take a while to deliver, for actually have our hands on it.
Absolutely. All I know is I want WoW mobile, not like the game mobile, but I want something I love the mobile auction house, which, by the way, as of yesterday, the auction house API
is it back yet?
It's back, because what they said is there was a huge database update that they had to do for 7.3.5, and it took them a while just to get that database back online. You need to have logged into the game since 7.3.5 to get access to it. But yeah, mobile auction house, remote auction house on the desktop, and the API are now online. And Staller of CTR was making a good point. Don't trust market data for a few weeks, because it has
for AH, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a ton of incorrect data right now. But I'm excited. I saw TSM4 might be close to release. It's in beta, but it might be close to public release soon.
What's that?
Tradesco Master.
Oh. Wow, gosh.
I love that add-on. Hazelnutty Games gave me an amazing tutorial on her YouTube channel. She didn't give it to me personally, but I saw it on her channel. And now I put items in there to sell, so it's made it much easier.
Gosh, I've never used anything like that. I use Auctioneer or Auctionator, whatever the one that everyone uses. Frankly, I'm shocked that we haven't seen an AH update where we've got this app that has stuff in it that you can do that you can't do in the silly game.
Yeah.
The AH, gosh, it needs help.
Oh, it does. And hopefully that with all the new trading going on in BFA, hopefully that's a thing. Somebody was saying it would be cool if we had one app nowadays that would do everything.
Yeah, because we have the auction house guild chat thing,
which always logs me out.
Right, and then you have the garrison / whatever that thing is. Then you have, there's so many apps.
The authenticator.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing to where I can understand being separate.
Me too.
Me too.
But beyond everything else, beyond that and the BlizzCon app, those are the two that I can see staying separate. Mm-hmm. And everything else can be the same.
I don't want to lose the Legion app after Legion, because when I get alts finally into Legion, I'm probably going to be doing order hall stuff for them. It makes it much easier.
I bet we do lose the Legion app after Legion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I would be surprised. I bet it turns into something else, because they would have to keep it updated for iOS and Android OS changes. Yeah, there's no way they're gonna keep something updated and going for an expansion that isn't running anymore.
That is true. So hopefully this all means we're gonna get one big app that lets you do everything, or class halls go the way of the garrisons to a time long ago.
I still go battle pets there sometimes.
Oh, me too, and I'm still working on achievement. I finally got a monument in my garrison. So, and Battle for Azeroth, there are a couple changes. These are alpha things, so they could change. 3 things from Wildhead is that class abilities might scale with attack power instead of weapon damage. And bleeds and poisons may now scale with haste. Some of that stuff goes a little bit above my head in like the theory crafting and stuff like that. I apologize. I try to understand it, but math is not my strong point. So it is being data mined that first aid might be removed and bandages might be moved to tailoring. So Wildhead was looking at the data, and the BFA bandages that they added are showing up as tailoring recipes. The first aid achievements are classified as legacy, and some bandage recipes from earlier now show up as tailoring recipes.
That is just fine with me.
Me too. I leveled up to first aid on one character, have not maxed it out, probably will, at this point won't ever max it out.
Right.
And it would give tailoring something to sell again, other than bags and stuff like that. It would be a really good thing for them to sell.
Well, I mean, if you use bandages, I guess as a shaman, it's hard for me to see the use. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong.
And Swords made a good point. It is bad for Iron Man, which is very true. So now all Iron Man tunes will be tailors. Wait, they probably can't do professionals.
They can't have that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can take anything from any other player, can they?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I've got a level 2 Iron Man. I better know all the rules.
Level 2 Iron Man?
I got distracted.
You rolled it and logged off?
Yeah. I meant to play it all of Saturday, and then I logged off to do different things. And I think I got distracted because of like the Allied races came out like that Tuesday. So, and I never went back. Oh, and speaking of Outrage, this is always interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. Dungeon XP from Classic to Draenor has been increased if you queue by random. I understand that kind of got broken a little bit at 7.3.5. There are logic issues where high-level players could take people to dungeons again, and you could kind of boost characters. So this has caused some disgruntlement in the community. But Blizzard has said that they do not like high-level players boosting low-level players.
So I have a soapbox moment, sort of. Mm-hmm. And this is more in the way of defending Blizzard. You know, they want you to see and explore and do all the things and not just to blast through it. Like, we understand you want to play with your friends, all of that. But, you know, it isn't a classic thing anymore because we are in Legion. So it's like you can't just grab a bunch of your friends that are 60 and expect to get all this XP now. Mm-hmm. It's just you have to go in, make the community what you want it, in the way that it's intended. It isn't very constructive if you're just blasting through the content, because at this point you're not seeing it really. So if you can say, hey, this dungeon does this, I noticed it with my group that I went in randomly with, and then if you can give Blizzard constructive feedback, either fix and or modify things, or maybe do something a little different, that would be great. You know, and I know it seems a little slow, and people aren't happy with that, but if, like, I don't know the answer to that. I haven't thought of a suggestion quite yet to feed into that for Blizzard yet, but I'm looking into it. So it's like that's something that I want Blizzard to do the way they want it, and for also the players be happy. Because we play this game daily, and sometimes there's a disconnect between a developer and the way they see it and the way that we as hardcore players see it, or even casual players see it. Maybe if we can bridge that gap a little bit and help them out, that's cool. But we need to, as a community, not just CTR or AIE, but just as a whole, say, hey, you know, this is a thing. Let's help fix it together. It's all about that community aspect for me. So there you go.
I can definitely see Blizzard has a financial incentive to make it harder because they do sell boosts. And financially, I could see that being one area, but I also think that they might want to make people enjoy the game, and even a time sink leads people to keep playing their sub.
Right, and I don't mind time sink. I don't mind questing. I don't mind running the dungeon. Now, there are some people that don't want to do that, and I totally get it. And am I with them? If that's the way they want to do it, sure. But there are some people that need that time to learn their class. Like, if I didn't play on a PvP server with Zeph, I would have no idea on how to play her.
Well, PvP definitely teaches you how to play better.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it took me to go into a 5-man instance, go into a raid and learn my role and learn it very quickly, because some of these places are very unforgiving. So that made me learn too. And originally, when I first started playing officially in Warcraft or World of Warcraft, I started playing as a paladin. And the instance that I was in, there was another paladin with us, and they said, you would be better suited as a healer and not this class, but we know that you enjoy it, so let's suggest for you a priest and maybe do some PvP. And I took that suggestion, and I'm happy I took it for what it was worth at face value, because it was great to do that and learn it that way. And not everybody has that story, but am I thankful for that. And it's like, that's the one thing that I feel like, even though it may be slower or maybe be bogged down to where we're not going as quick, but that scratches an itch of let's see all the things, because it is an experience. These are MMOs and change happens. Any Blizzard MMO, no matter what, even there are other games, change will happen, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. When I play a character from 0 to 100, and I played quite a few from there, I boosted a few, but I need to then learn how those characters play. I find I sometimes learn the class for the most part. I mean, when I got Frazley to 110, I also had to learn how to properly use some of my skills, but I felt like I learned the character, and I also felt a connection to the character from taking it from 0.
Yeah, like for me, there are some classes where I will never boost, and some classes I would. Now, if it was a priest, a paladin, a mage, even to some extent a warlock, I would definitely boost those characters. But a rogue, a DK, tanking classes, I wouldn't, because I feel that I need that extra connection, the extra time investment to learn them. But not everybody understands that playing this game. And that's okay, but it's also your money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to play the game how you want it, no matter which way it is. And it may not even be parallel to mine. So have your fun, do what you need to do. Even if you want to boost all your tunes, that's great. Go for it. But you have to realize you still have to learn that class, that tune, that spec.
WoW gives you a free boost when you buy in the expansion, and before you even settle on a character, they let you do a class trial. You can even do a class trial without a boost and see what's its main abilities.
Exactly. And for those of who that are new to the game, I always say boost one, level another, so that way you can see, because you're given the free boost, so why not use it?
Yeah.
So are you saying that Blizzard has made it more difficult for people to run people through dungeons?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say you, Sal, at your 110 shaman, decide to run my little 40-something rogue through a whatever instance I can get into.
Mm-hmm.
My little rogue wouldn't get as much XP because you're there with me. It would be better suited for me to run a random on my own with people in the same grouping of levels. And I like doing it that way anyway. I find it, for me, if a higher level person would be running me through, I'm bored.
Right.
That doesn't seem to be efficient, even if they didn't take that aspect of it away.
And there was an issue in 7.3.5 that made the back-to-back dungeon less desirable, and it sounds like they've hot-fixed it where a random queue will reward more XP, almost pre-7.3.5 rate, if I'm reading the blue post right.
Mm.
Yeah, they adjusted it based off of that, and because they realized it was just molasses. It was real slow. But beyond that, nothing else has changed. An average dungeon is what? If you have a good group of people that are DPSing fairly well, tanks holding aggro, healer be healing, 20 minutes, yeah. Some will maybe, depending on the length, a little longer.
I don't know. I like running dungeons. I like leveling fast. I don't know. I like just letting people do whatever they want.
Yeah, and I can definitely see, I think Blizzard probably has a financial incentive to make it a little harder. I mean, that's the nature of an MMO, is it's a major time investment, because if
Right.
you put time in, you'll keep playing. So it's definitely interesting. What I can't wait is until Classic, when people see what the level Classic.
Yeah. I'm going to roll a tune, go, oh, hey, look at how grainy this is, and then never look back.
Yeah, I remember like quests would send you all over the place. You couldn't just quest in one area. You had to go here to here to here. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to watch. And definitely as we go forward, if you don't like what Blizzard's doing, like Zeph said, give feedback and kind of explain to Blizzard why you want it this way. Not saying Blizzard will do what you're saying.
But even then, they as a developer understand how it works.
Right.
So they may even take it in, twist it a certain way, and fix it to what benefits the greater good, too.
Yes.
Hey, FrazlCast. Here on Kilrog's site, I hope people were lucky this year on the past event Love in the Air and got their wonderful love rocket. Upcoming event is the Lunar Festival starting February 17th all the way to March 3rd. This is when you go around giving respect and honoring to the ancestor spirits. When you visit them, they will give you a coin of ancestry. This is a currency for items that you can buy in the Moonglade. During this holiday event, if you visit all the elders, you can get 84 coins. There's also add-ons that can help you locate all these elders. Some of them are in dungeons. The add-ons I use is TomTom and Handy Note. Also, next week, February 20th, the Battleground bonus event begins, and the PvP Brawl Pact House begins. During this Battleground bonus event, you will get a buff which increases the amount of honor earned from Battleground. If you pick up the weekly quest, you will need to win 4 Battlegrounds. When you have completed this task, you will be awarded with artifact power and honor points and 5 marks of honor, which is a currency for PvP gear. Yay for those transmog people! Pack House is a 15 versus 15 death match. Last team standing wins. So good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Lady Emma. And Lady Emma is also a CTR member. So this is just a CTR show today.
Yay!
I think she's on hump day right now. She was on that. There is a one raid team that raids at 5 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays and Sundays. She was on that for a little while. But I think now she's on hump day.
Hump Day Heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the team is pretty chill, too.
A lot of great teams. I need to look into one of those one day. Just
A 5 a.m. team?
No, not the 5 a.m. team. I'm sleeping. I'm usually up till editing the show late Friday night. From the fans. Well, as some of you might know, I've got a girlfriend named Addie Fizzlebach. I got a voicemail from her today, but the voicemail was a little too noisy to edit enough to be playable on the show. Too much background conversations by the other hunters in the Hunter's Lodge.
Your known hunter girlfriend?
Oh, absolutely. Addie Fizzlebach, you probably know her from Legion. In the
I'm a real hunter now.
She and I had a great quest there, and then we kind of went on a few more dates. I've had issues recently. She hasn't been returning my messages, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's complicated, but I still call her my girlfriend. We were dating for a long time. We were going steady, and then just I don't know what happened.
Then she met Taryn Gregory.
Oh, that explains it. Taryn, you lucky gnome.
I was just going to say, you know how those nasty conversations can go in the Hunter's Lodge? Hunters swear like sailors.
Yeah, it can definitely get tilted. So Addie was talking about, in the voicemail, she said, "Who is that Zortz guy? He seems really nice. I miss him on the show. Can we bring him back, please?" And actually, we will bring him back on the first episode of March, I believe.
Nice.
She then shouted to the other hunters in the True Salt Lodge, "Where's my coffee?" So she likes coffee too. I've got a suspicion. I think Zortz might be seeing Addie.
Yeah?
I mean, I was watching Zortz last night on his stream with Stardew Valley, and he had quite a few of the different people in there. They were asking him out and stuff like that. Like Abby, they were like doing this, like whatever the game's Ouija board thing was, and she said like, "I love Zoe," and then dropped the board. Oh, he's denying. He's saying Addie isn't his type. Source, I think you're hiding it.
Aww. She likes that mole in his nose. I think it needs to be surgically removed myself, but
I think you like that mole in his nose. See? But yeah, you can email us at show@frazzlecast.com. Call us at 1-440-536-3711. Tweet us at FrazlCast or leave us a voicemail on our voicemail page, FrazlCast.com/voicemail. And wow, I think with that, thank you all for coming tonight to FrazlCast. Sal, it was awesome having you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It was I was so excited because it was fun on the Converted talking with all of you.
That was a good show. That was fun. Yeah.
And sorry that I'm not like Bartholomew and stuff like that because he's awesome. So I'm not like him.
There's only one barf.
Absolutely. Well, where can we find you, Sal?
Hey, check me out on Twitter. I tweet about video games and nerd stuff. And New York. I tweet about New York as well. My real name is Summer, but everyone calls me Sal. You can see me on Twitter at Summer_Sal.
Oh, nice. Summer. Kind of nice. Kind of a nice summer day where it's...
Did you not know that?
No, I never knew that. I saw Summer Sal, but I thought maybe like you started your Twitter account in summer or like you couldn't get Sal or something like that.
That's true. I'd really tried to call myself, call me Sal, or my friends call me Sal, or they call me Sal, and but I couldn't. It's way too common of a name, as it turns out. So I ended up just going with my real name, Summer.
That's a really cool name.
Thank you.
Learning a lot more about people. Let me guess. Blood type is B+. I'm kidding.
You know what? I don't know my blood type. And that's crazy because I lived in Asia with Asian teenagers, for years and years. So, and they're obsessed with blood types. So, but I don't know it at all.
The only way I know it is I've donated to the Red Cross. So like their app tells me what my blood type is.
They have an app for donating blood?
It's really cool when you sign up to give it blood somewhere. When you go there, you show them your phone so they scan it. And then after you give your blood, they actually track and let you know when it's been sent to a hospital to be used. I mean, it's actually,
wow.
Yeah, it shows you that it goes somewhere. So I think mine possibly went to Las Vegas because I gave blood right before that happened. And I got the hospital notification like around that time. But it is amazing that it shows it goes somewhere and it's used somewhere.
Not on purpose, but every couple of years I seem to do something that takes me out of the giving blood category. I get a piercing, or not that I have a lot of piercings, but or I spend time in a malaria country or something like that, and they would turn me away. I check too many boxes.
I had that a couple of years, and this past time I was going to give blood, but I got really sick, and I was like, I don't have the energy to give the blood at this time. But I turned the show into like a organ donation and blood show.
I can't think of a better thing to turn it into.
Yeah,
I'm definitely a donor. That's definitely on my driver's license. Hopefully, they're okay with someone who's recently been to a malaria country.
Yeah. And the way I look at it is, I also understand people's reservations on any of this stuff. So it's definitely, I just like people to at least think about this stuff and at least contemplate it.
Right.
And we can also find you on the Converted podcast every 2 weeks.
Monday night every 2 weeks we do it live. You can search for us on all your podcatchers, the Converted podcast. But it's a podcast about Convert to Raid, the guild, which I think we mentioned one or two times.
Yes.
On this episode. But also, hey, listen, I'm on the Darkmoon Herald now.
Nice.
Ba-ba-ba. And that's a lot of fun.
I haven't been able to listen to all the episodes, but the ones I've listened to with you on there, you and Kevin have a really good flow.
Thank you. Me, Kevin, and Reb was able to come back. She had a baby and is now back in the saddle, and very happy to have her on. And so the three of us are a team.
Nice.
Yeah. That's something that just very recently happened.
Yeah.
Not the baby, but the me being on the show.
It's a great flow and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check out the Darkmoon Herald. Hi, Kevin.
We love seeing you in the chat room.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm not always able to be there because when it goes live, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm somewhere else.
Well, it happens early Sunday mornings. It happens at 9 a.m. for me, West Coast 6 a.m., which is where Kevin is. He does that because that's when his kids are still in bed.
Okay, so it's 9 a.m. West Coast. That would be 12 p.m. East Coast.
No. 9 a.m. East Coast.
Oh, okay. Yes.
6 a.m. West Coast.
And yeah, 9 a.m. I'm typically somewhere. So I'm thinking of you. Whenever I see Twitch tell me that Darkmoon Herald went live, I'm always thinking of all of you. So
You're out somewhere on a Sunday morning at 9:00?
absolutely.
All right.
I'm partying. No.
You're still out.
Yeah, I'm still out now.
Yeah, he's trying to get all them gnome ladies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Zephirah, where can we find you on the interwebs?
Best place is the blog, zephyrahsadventure.wordpress.com, or on Twitter at zephyrahzala, and, may the spirit healers be with you.
Zorch was saying he's dating the spirit healer.
Yeah, that one's for you, Zort.
I just realized that you had people chatting in Discord during this. I had no idea, or I would have been trolling them the whole time.
Love you too, Zort.
And we've had one viewer on Twitch, but that's because I forgot to tweet out.
You're on Twitch?
Yeah, I forgot to tweet it out today. The streaming software went down right before the show, so I was just like rushing around to get everything up.
I like trolling chat rooms. It's one of my favorite things because the chat rooms, whether it's in Discord or Twitch or wherever it is, they are always, and I really mean this, they're the most important part of the show. They're the ones that keep the conversation going and give. Y'all might not know this and might not even believe it when I say it, but it's the people in the chat rooms that really give you a sense of like a reason why. Yes, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. I'm tired, Oh, why am I waking up on a Sunday to do this? But in the chat rooms there, it keeps you hype.
Absolutely.
And that is such an important part. And I can't stress it enough how important that is. So if you're in the chat room, if you like being in the chat room and you like participating, please understand that that's amazing and more amazing than you think. Yeah. Hopefully you're having fun. Sure. But you're also doing us a service.
Yeah.
And I really mean that. And
I may not be able to respond, and I know you're probably the same way. You can't respond to every comment, but you see it, and you're looking at it, and it shows you that it's not just an echo chamber, that we're not just three people talking into the wild blue yonder.
Right.
Even if we were, I'd be fine.
Well, looks like you've got quite the following here. That's pretty awesome.
It's blown me away, and it always makes me blush just being like, wow. People are having a good time, and I love seeing the relationships form and stuff like that. Like different guests become friends with each other. Different listeners have become friends with each other. So it's that's what I love. It's creating a platform, creating a community.
Heck, on the Darkmoon Herald a few weeks ago, we started a PvP team in the chat room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need to do that here.
Absolutely.
I recommend it. I'll be raiding with not raiding, but PvPing with the Darkmoon Herald tomorrow night. As a matter of fact.
Funsies!
Nice! Oh, and check out Zephyrah's blog because, Sal, get this. Zephyrah has been really getting connections. She had this, Zorts, Scott Johnson, Wicked Kitten, and she had me, but she had all the other people on the blog. And it's just like, wow, that's awesome. And I was just blown away. And it was cool reading these people and like seeing their answers to questions and learning about them.
And the funny thing about those is that mid-January I thought about that and I decided to go with it and run with it. And I didn't expect any of these people to say yes. But the nice thing about this is like upcoming, you'll see names that are familiar. And one of them were on the show last week here. So Scruffy's coming up.
Nice.
Saturday. And then after that, Stone. And then on the 3rd of next month, host of the Epic Fail podcast, Draven.
Nice.
I'll be on that show that day or that night. Like, that's part of the reason why I do what I do, because of the community. And they give their time so selflessly and interact, and it's great. And it's like that's amazing. Like my jaw dropped when Fist said yes. I was like, huh? You're really doing this? She's like, yeah, come on, let's go, girl.
Why would she say no? I mean, people that say no, like maybe they're busy.
Yeah.
Right.
Legit. I'm not saying that this isn't busy, but what I'm saying is you also give of your time, of yourself to the community. And please remember that. I mean, you serve the CTR Guild, and that's a pretty big job. And you're writing this stuff. It is not just for yourself, and you provide a platform for other people to engage. And
that's
people want to
the
support
awesome
that.
part. And that's the awesome part of it is like the community spotlights were not for me. I don't do that for me. I give that because I want other people to continue to have their voices heard and like let people see that. And it's like Scott's interview was one of the bigger ones that I was like, really? Like, and I don't say that out of disrespect for Scott because it's like Scott is very, very busy. Like, he runs so many shows a day. I'm like, and Thist is a wonderful girl. She's spunky and Zortz was like streams all the time, works nights, and he just busts his butt to do what he does. And Fraz does all this stuff, and I'm like, really? Like that's cool, like to me.
And like Draven runs that podcast. Draven's also in the Azeroth Roundtable Discord and chat, and Draven almost won their BlizzCon prediction game show because they had a really cool twist this year where they let listeners vote. But actually, I believe Alessander, which I've heard that name on multiple podcasts, and Alessander is awesome.
She's everywhere. Yeah.
I think I first heard her on MMO Reporter, if I'm thinking of the same one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just amazing. Like you hear these names, you're like, oh, that's cool. And yeah, it's fun seeing these names pop up over different places.
Which I need to get her on the community spotlight too.
Yeah.
I'm after you there, Alessander. We need to talk. Let's go.
And like she's on like she's always writing into the Blue Recluse.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. What's cool about any of this stuff, if you're a listener and you have a passion for something, find a community and just like start chatting it up. I mean, because you never know where you'll be. I was the same way. I was a little name somewhere.
You're still little.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know.
Yeah. And like I joined communities and like I do this show just because I love to talk about WoW. I love to meet people. I love to hang out with people. So yeah, you can find me at Frazley.com, on Twitter at Frazleytastic because Frazley was taken. Though it's weird. I'm on Spotify. Look for Frazee Ford. No, I'm not Frazee Ford. You can find the show at Frazzlecast.com. Get in touch with us. When I just found out that I'm also a corn chip. The Gold Queen said that there's a thing called Frazzle. Apparently,
I saw that.
Bacon flavored corn chips. I almost bought one on Amazon.
Yeah, there is also like a candy gum is it Fraz something? I had to look that up for you and put it in the Discord. It's like Frazzles or something like that.
So now I'm junk food. Nice. So if people have a good time, it's awesome. Well, thank you all for coming out, and until next week, be awesome.
Sudden subscription slump seems somewhat suspicious. It's the Overly Dramatic News. I'm Hunts the Wind. If there's one thing that many heroes in World of Warcraft have in common, it's an obsessive compulsion to seek and collect rare items. One of those items is the fabled Love Rocket, and every February Blizzard expects subscription numbers to rise as people return to Azeroth to slake their missile madness during Love is in the Air holiday. But despite all expectations, OGN has learned that February subscription numbers actually fell during the past few years. Even curiouser, our crack investigative team had discovered that a large portion of the missing subscribers were all tied to just a few credit cards based in Silicon Valley, and that the lost income totaled approximately $90 million. Now that would have been the end of the story had it not been for the sharp eyes of one of our freelance researchers. She was watching the live feed of the Tesla Roadster speeding away from Earth and noticed a refrigerator magnet on the glove box door. Under the magnet was a piece of paper labeled Itinerary, which included Earth orbit, Mars, and asteroids. The fact that the magnet was in the shape of a Falcon Heavy but had love written on it suggests that Elon Musk decided it was cheaper to build his own version of the mount than to pay for all those alts. The last item on the itinerary pretty much confirms it, barely visible under numerous scratch-out marks were the words, Shadowfang Keep. Broadcasting across all Azeroth, I'm Hunts the Wind. Check out the archives at overlydramaticnews.com or follow me on Twitter at Hunts the Wind.
So welcome to a FrazlBite or something.
FrazlBite, okay.
We've just gotten done with the big episode. Man, I cannot believe what they said on this episode. Wow.
Unbelievable.
I know, it was amazing. And
so controversial.
I know.
That was, yeah.
Today we are here with the Eric Gauder.
That's right. That's my formal first name.
Yes.
It's the.
On your birth certificate it says the.
Yes. It's very official.
And then like your karaoke name is Disease Cow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they don't let me do karaoke. There
Yeah.
are laws written in legislature to prevent that from ever happening.
I've seen it. It's insane. But since we last saw you on FrazlCast, what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been up to doing a lot of YouTube and game streaming.
Nice!
Yeah, so that's become part of everything that I do now. Done like probably 100 hours of game streaming since then. And then been doing Two Guys Watch a Movie, been doing more of that. We got 4 new shows coming out here in the eventually. And then doing Game of the Week, which is my new thing.
Nice!
Yep.
You're big on Mixer.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. Apparently, if you just, like, while you're playing Xbox and then you just stream while you do it, then people just watch. And then next thing you know, you have 350 people following you, and
like they're in like chat, and like whenever you play Minecraft, they're like, "Hey, can I play? Can I play?"
pretty much, yeah, it's actually super annoying. Where I just get in there, like, add me. I'm like, no, go away. I don't even know who you are.
Just people want to be loved.
I guess. But why can't I just acknowledge them in the chat? Because here's the thing. If then they come play in the stream, then they're not watching the stream.
That is
They don't
true.
have an audience. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to keep them wanting more.
That's right. Keep them wanting more. Well, that's why now I have the YouTube stuff where it's like, when I'm not streaming, here, go check this stuff out. And then they do check it out. And then they were all saying, hey, you should do like gaming videos. And I was like, I've never done gaming videos. And I was like, well, I'll do a gaming video. So I tried it and I did one because they had been saying, hey, play this Fortnite game. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but they're like, it's free. And I'm like, okay, well, there, you've sold me. I don't have to spend any money on it. Then what do I have to lose? So I downloaded it and then I shot one video and I was like, okay, that turned out okay. So then kind of put it together a little bit and then was like, okay, kind of understood what it was going to be. Shot the rest of the week. So I shot 4 more. So I was like, then I can put out one every day. Again, at this point, I still didn't know what this thing was going to be.
Yeah.
I get them all edited. All of it. Still don't know what this thing is. Or what I'm calling it. Or what it's going to be. Then I'm going through YouTube looking up, like, I have title names for it that I'm, like, thinking of it. I'm like, what comes up when I search that? And then, like, a bunch of these, I'm like, okay, not that. Not that. Not that. And I was just like, well, I'm playing a video game for a week. So I typed in Game of the Week. And then just a bunch of sports stuff came up, and I was like, it's not a lot of video game stuff here. I may have hit on something that's maybe not been done a ton, but I'm sure it has been done before. That, and I was like, that just the title of it, plus what I'm doing, it fits so perfectly, and it's a phrase people are familiar with. And here's the other thing, by chance, come up with the graphic design and some text elements using this, like, sports block font. When I thought of Game of the Week, I was just like, oh, that's perfect. And then I wrote Game of the Week in that font, and I was like, oh, this was meant to be. It just felt good and right. So then I was hooked. I was like, all right, well, now I'm going to dive in and started, putting the show together. So as of today, because when this is going out, as to when these will be going out, this week is Overwatch week.
Yes. How are you enjoying Overwatch?
I have like a weird relationship with Overwatch. I'm not good at it at all. I've played a good amount. Well, when I say a good amount, there are people who devote their lives to it and play it 24/7. That is not me. I have probably put 30 hours into the game, all in all, over like several months. So I've played it, but I'm not obsessed with it. But part of that is I'm terrible at shooter games in a competitive environment because everybody else is better than me. But at the same time, I don't find that I hate the game either. Like, I don't dislike it, even though I keep losing. But I think part of that is because that's not the game's fault. That's my fault. And everybody else is just better than me. So I like it. It's one of those, it's quick and repetitive, so you don't realize that you're doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
Enough that I can play it for a week.
And have you done like arcade mode or done any of the loot boxes?
Loot boxes, I mean, I've opened them when I get them, but I don't really get the point. I think I might open up a loot box this week, like on the show, or not. I can't remember because I just recorded it 2 hours ago. Here, I'm gonna spoil the magic of how these shows work. Is I don't make a new one every day. I make them all at once. I record in 15-20 minute bursts 5 times in a row. So it takes like an hour, and I do 5. The second one I did today, I forgot to record the game footage. So I had to just pretend that never happened and do another one. So if it didn't happen in that second round, like the second round, then I have it somewhere, but I can't remember when I did it.
Yeah.
I want to say it should be in there.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it is. So you'll get to see me doing some loot box stuff and being completely unamused and unexcited by whatever was in it.
And for the audience, I think I've heard Diablo 3 might be in the future.
It could be in the future, absolutely. If the audience wants it, I'll absolutely do it.
Have you noticed a merging of the YouTube and Mixer, or do people find you from Mixer and find your YouTube, or vice versa?
At least how I think it works, and I don't know, because I haven't paid a lot to any of the analytics of any of it, which I should do, but I haven't. I think most of it starts at Mixer, whereas I'll be streaming, and then I'll kind of keep obsessively talking about, hey guys, I also got a YouTube, you should go check it out, like and subscribe. Like, I'll do that over and over again while I'm streaming, and then that pushes a little bit of the audience over the YouTube way. There could be people that are just finding it on its own, but also it's a new show. Yeah, at this point it's been on for 4 weeks now.
It was incredible when CNN put you on the front page of their website.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Here's this game nobody's heard of, and some guy you've never heard of playing it, and there's 5 videos of it on YouTube.
Yeah, and you have now 5 million subscribers.
I wish. No pressure, right?
We recorded this on February 6th.
Yeah.
Time warping.
Hi. Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Blah, blah, blah. March is almost here at this point. That's how far ahead I am on my own work.
Wow.
That's rare. Yeah. And I already have show 1 of Overwatch Week. At this point, on February the 6th, 50% edited already. So, and I recorded it 2 hours ago.
Nice.
So, or maybe 3. I don't know. When was the rocket launch? It was between the rocket launch and now. Whatever.
The Falcon Heavy.
Yeah.
Which was heavy.
Yeah, big. But yeah, playing Overwatch. Yeah, the way I structured it, so this is going out on a Monday. Make sure right now, when you're done listening to this, to go check out the first Overwatch video of the week.
Your stuff's at wayawesome.link/EricGame, and it'll be in the show notes too.
It's a very distinct looking show in terms of like the images and stuff that goes out there. I'm still like, I understand how the show works now a little bit, but I'm still working on myself within it, where I'll go through and I'll edit it like, okay, that's stupid thing I gotta stop doing, that's stupid thing I gotta stop doing, that's like, can I hold my head straight for a set, like before I finish a sentence, you know, what are my hands doing, why am I doing this? So there's a lot of watching that. Like in the Overwatch shows, show 1, I realized, okay, well, for week 5, I need to watch my being super ADD because I'm making some comment about something. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that. Hey, look, there's blue stuff over there. What's that? Like I just watched that cut of it like 40 minutes ago. I was like, stupid. But that's in the episode. That's in the final episode. You'll see it.
And that's the exciting thing, is to see a new show and where it morphs.
And from week 1 to 2, visually, it changes some, not a lot. I incorporate the set that you see, but you're very familiar with the set that's behind me.
Yeah.
That is now the set that I use for the show.
Oh, nice. With the wood paneling and stuff like that. That's awesome.
And through the, because I'm so far ahead on these shows I have to remember that as we're recording this, only the second Roblox show is out right now. But it's Overwatch Week. Yeah, go watch it.
Yes.
For the inside shows, just the coloring and design of that is a very dark, like black and white with hints of red in it. So I did a color balance on the wood panels and actually gave them a red hue that kind of fits with what I'm wearing and the graphics within the game itself, plus the graphics I put into the game. Where typically the graphics for the show are like a bright green, like a chroma key green. For this one, it was just ridiculous looking. So I was like, what if I go with the red that's the same red as the titles for inside? So last week's looked a little bit different. Overwatch is going back to the same old, so, but it's adaptable.
Absolutely.
Trying to keep the format simple, where it's, okay, here we're playing one game for an entire week. Every day at noon, a new video drops where I'm playing further into the game. So what I'm doing with Overwatch, because with all the other games I've done so far, there's been kind of logical like starts and stops through it to like break it up in different shows, or there's a story going along, or like inside especially, there's not really it's just continuous, there's no breaking point. So it's just like, okay, well, we got through that and that took us a while, so we'll pause here and then we'll start again tomorrow. With Overwatch, it's the same match over and over and over again. So how I've structured the week is, and to encourage people to come and check it out every day, is I'm playing it for 5 days. So I'm playing 5 matches of Overwatch and just trying to see if by the end of the week, whether I have a winning record or a losing record for the week. Tune in every day this week to find out whether I win or lose the match to find out by the end of the week whether it's a winning or losing week. And it may get to a point where by the last day, we still don't know whether it's going to be a winning or losing week, or it might not. I don't want to give too much away. Because if I give too much away, then you'll just be like, well, I know it. But you don't.
Yes.
I promise you, you don't. You don't know what happens. I know what happens because I just did it. But yeah, it's going pretty good. So, and it's also one where, too, I want, people to suggest games and like, what was it? Diablo, you said?
Yeah.
I'm going to do Diablo at some point, and I'm going to do Assassin's Creed just because I like that game. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, I'm up for all kinds of stuff. And also, games that I've done on the show will reoccur at different points. You'll see, say, we did Fortnite for the first week. When I play Fortnite again, if I play Fortnite, I probably will. It won't start as part 1 again. Then it'll be Fortnite part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it'll always continue. And then I set up playlists on the YouTube channel. There's one that's just the entire every episode of the show. Then I also break it down by game. So if you're like, I just want to watch the Fortnite shows, you can go to the Fortnite playlist, and that's all you have to see. That for Roblox, Inside, Overwatch, Assassin's Creed, etc. So trying to make it easy and accessible for people. Plus, they're all kind of short. They're all 4 to 7 minutes each. So they're easily digestible. They're not ones that if you miss the one before, you won't understand what's happening in the one you're watching, because I'm constantly referring to other things and different stuff.
Nice.
I'm also going to do Limbo on the show. Absolutely, I'm doing Limbo on the show.
Nice.
There's another game called Unravel.
Yeah.
Weird little game. I played it a couple years ago, and I loved it. I never got through it, so I think I'm going to do that week 6. That one's going to be fun, because that's something also with this show I want to do. I could do the big hits, like the latest Call of Duty or whatever comes out. I could do that. If you want to also see games you maybe never heard of.
Absolutely.
That, and I also want to do old games, like retro games, like PlayStation 1 games, obscure things. Yeah, Psychonauts would be awesome. I haven't played that in forever. So, stuff like that. So, it's wide open, the possibilities. And I'm open to doing all of it. It's a lot of output, though. 5 days a week. I've never done anything like that before.
Where can they find you?
They can find me on YouTube at Eric Gauder. Look for Game of the Week. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Gauder. Look for the Game of the Week tweets, because that's all that's basically there now. Or you can find me on Mixer at Eric Gauder. Not doing Game of the Week, but talking about it while I stream. So I can't get away from it. It's just my life now. And if you like Game of the Week, subscribe to the YouTube so you don't miss any more of Overwatch Week. If you're into Overwatch, or you like watching somebody be bad at Overwatch, you're in for a treat, because I'm not good at it. I'm set in my ways. I know one way to be quasi not the worst, but still not good, and that's what I stick with.
Nice.
So I'm sure I'll have people angrily commenting about all the things I did stupid or bad. I can't wait. I'm excited.
That's YouTube.
That's the comments. Although all the people I've had commenting so far on the videos have actually been very nice. So
thank you for joining us today, Eric Gauder.
Thanks for having me. Let me shamelessly promote my stuff.
Oh, I love it. I'm always about content creators. I'm always about people trying things, and maybe somebody listening will get inspired by what you're doing, and they'll want to do something like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 26 of the Frazley Report. Today is Friday, February 16th, 2018. This week was Valentine's Day, the day you celebrate your loved one, your bae, your snooki pie, your honey bun, except if you don't have a loved one. While many took time away from WoW on Wednesday to be with their lovers, others took to Azeroth to have a chance at the big love rocket mount from the holiday dungeon boss. Along the way to the dungeon queue, many, including me, bought a Valentine's gift for themselves. The Datamine dog mount is now available on US and EU Battle.net shops. Shuzhen the Divine Sentinel is now available for purchase. I picked up this mount as it's doggone cute. Hey, if I don't have a bae of my own, except for Addie Fizzlebog, who's my girlfriend in-game, but our relationship is complicated. She's not returning my messages. So I'll spend it on myself and fly away around Azeroth, eating chocolate and crying to myself on how lonely I am. I miss you, Addie. We had so much fun together. Please never get my calls. Addie. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Many of the single players in World of Warcraft tried again for the drop of the big love rocket mount from the holiday dungeon boss where love is in the air. As all of us single players were fighting and looking at our empty boxes, we all debated if the mount actually exists. Some of us have that friend who claims they have the mount, but that friend never actually uses it. They just post an achievement picture on Twitter or link it when asked in chat. We at the Frazley Report decided to do our homework on if this mount exists. I called up an anonymous source at Blizzard. Their code name is Bubbles. We asked Bubbles if the mount actually exists. Here is their response.
Mr. Sparkspan, I can confirm that the mount does exist in the game. We, however, did not actually place it in the RNG aspect. We instead have it tied to the Blizzard Cafe, which is on the menu, and it's called the I Love You Sweetie Box of Chocolates. Employees usually buy this for their loved ones as they leave work, or if their partner ends up visiting the headquarters. Every time it is ordered, the mount drops in game. Now, there are a few employees who buy it for themselves for the chocolate, but this is rare. So that explains the drop rate, friends. Love is a battlefield, and good love is hard to find.
Thank you for your information, Bubbles. This confirms it, folks. The mount does exist, but it's not in-game RNG. It's the toughest RNG ever. The RNG of love. This has been the Frazley Report. I am Frazley Sparkspan. You can find the show at FrazlReport.com. Until next week, be awesome. Oh, I miss you. Frazzlecast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.